Biden has continuously vowed to stay in the race after a devastating debate performance nearly 2 weeks ago. Brought you on because you have successfully predicted many of our latest presidents based on your 13 keys to the White House. So based on that criteria, what do you think President Biden should do?
You know, one thing that all of those critics, the operatives, the politicians, the journalists, the pundits, the pollsters, who are urging President Biden to step down, the one thing they have in common is zero successful track record in predicting elections. My keys to the White House, in contrast, have been successful for 40 years, since I first predicted Ronald Reagan's re-election in April 1982, in the midst of what was then the worst recession since the Great Depression, and when Reagan's approval ratings were 43. Unlike the pundits and the political operatives, the keys actually gauge how elections really work, which are votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party. And the way it works is if 6 or more of the keys go against the White House party, they are predicted losers. And the keys show the Democrats' best chance is with Biden continuing to run rather than what the critics who have no credibility in election prediction want him to do, to step down and then have a big party brawl about who his successor should be. Biden ticks off my incumbency key and the party contest key. He won 87% of the primary vote. That means of the remaining 11 keys, 6 would have to fall to predict the Democrats' defeat. We follow the critics. We lose the incumbency key for the Democrats. They lose the party contest key. That means only 4 more keys would have to fall to predict their defeat. But look outside the keys, look at history. In over 120 years since 1900, the White House party has never, I repeat, never won under the conditions the critics are trying to create: an open seat with no incumbent running and an internal party contest. In effect, they are trying to recreate the conditions of 2016 that elected Donald Trump in the first place.
So what you're saying politically for Democrats, their best play is to let this news cycle run its course, have President Biden stay in the race.
That's right. But I have a plan B.
Well,
Let's
share
say,
it.
these foolhardy critics prevail and they force Biden to step down, which, I certainly don't advocate, but let's say it happens. The worst thing that could happen would be if he stays on as president, lose the incumbency key, and there's a party fight. But the plan B would be he resigns the presidency, saying it's for the good of the country, which creates a contrast with Donald Trump, who's only in this for himself. That makes Harris the president. She then wins the incumbency key, just like Lyndon Johnson did in 1964 when he became president after the assassination of Kennedy, or Gerald Ford in 1976 after he became president when Richard Nixon resigns, a direct analog. And then as the incumbent president, she could become the consensus nominee, so he'd also tick off the contest key. So that is the only reasonable plan B for the Democrats. Are you listening, Gerald Nadler? One of the most influential Democrats and my old debate partner from Stuyvesant High School in New York City.
Well, I hope he's listening to you just for viewership purposes. But with all due respect, Lyndon Johnson did have more time as an incumbent. Let's say the plan B works. Kamala Harris is president for just a few months. Is that enough for that incumbency key to really stick?
When you read my book, you'll see the definition is you're the sitting president. There's no time limit. Gerald Ford wasn't the sitting president all that long, obviously much longer than Harris would be, or Lyndon Johnson, both were less than half a term. So that would not affect the key one way or the other. And you also can follow the definitions of the keys and ask questions on my live show every Thursday at 9 p.m. at Allan Lichtman YouTube. That's 9 p.m. Eastern every Thursday at Allan Lichtman YouTube.